Good morning. Welcome to this place of peace, justice, and hope. I am Paula. My pronouns are she and her, and I'm pleased to be with you as the worship associate today. In this Unitarian Universalist congregation, we affirm no matter who you are, who you love, or where you are on your journey, you are welcome here. For those of you joining us online, we are so glad you're with us. If you are visiting with us today, we invite you to sign our visitor's book. And if you would like to join us for coffee downstairs, if you would like, feel free to take a green mug so that we can be sure to greet you. Also, members and friends, to help folks connect, remember to wear your name tags with your pronoun stickers. If you need a new name tag, you can request that in the living room. Our music today will be provided by our music director, Jamie Passman. There's always a lot going on around the church, and you can read all about it in News and Notes, which arrives in your inbox every Friday. And there are printed copies available downstairs. If you would like to receive News and Notes, stop by the welcome table in the living room at the back of the church. Join us after service for our year-end picnic. It will be inside because it's so wet. Join us on Saturday, June 20th for an important program where we will hear from Eva. Eva is a U.S. citizen who married Enes in 2024. Enes is a Turkish Kurd who legally sought asylum in the U.S. after fleeing persecution in Turkey. Enes has no criminal history and has complied with his immigration obligations. He was detained in November while awaiting a decision on his asylum application. Join us to understand the realities faced by asylum seekers and their families. Learn how you can support immigrants, advocate for humane treatment and due process, and engage in meaningful civic and faith-based action. Next Sunday, June 21st, is our first outdoor service of the summer. Remember that summer services start at 10 a.m., and the service will be out in a conversation circle on the church lawn, weather permitting. And immediately after church, don't miss the summer solstice celebration, which takes the place this year of the Beltane celebration that was rained out in May. There will be food, drink, and dancing around the maypole, which has been transformed through elfin magic into the solstice staff. And what time does church service start next Sunday? Yay, good job. Our opening song, "We Shall Not Be Moved," it is a traditional folk song of resilience and determination that gained popularity and some new verses during the civil rights movement of the 60s. Popularly sung by Joan Baez, Pete Seeger, Mavis Staples, and many more. We sing it today in anticipation of Juneteenth, which we celebrate on June 19th, heralding the time when the news of the end of slavery reached enslaved Black Americans in Galveston, Texas, 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation. We sing today, too, in this time, to affirm our commitment to holding strong against fascism. Oh yes, please stand if you are able, in body or spirit. Next verse is fighting for our freedom. Fighting for our freedom. We shall not be moved. Fighting for our freedom. We shall not be moved. Just like a tree planted by the water. Caring for our neighbors. Caring for our neighbors. Caring for our neighbors. We shall not be moved. Caring for our neighbors, we shall not be moved. Just like a flame
will notice something unusual this morning, and that is that Reverend Beth is quiet. We don't like a quiet Reverend Beth. She lost her voice. She keeps saying, I think I can do it. And Paula and I are like, we've got this. It's going to be okay. So we are sort of pinch hitting here a little bit. Each Sunday, we join Unitarian Universalist congregations around the world by beginning our services by lighting a chalice, the symbol of Unitarian Universalism. On this Sunday, as we remember the stories that inspire and guide us, stories of hope and of life rising up in the face of danger and death, we share part of our story of as Unitarian Universalists, the story of the Flaming Chalice. The Flaming Chalice originated during World War II, when the Unitarian Service Committee was working to get people safely out of the grasp of the Nazis. The artist who was commissioned to create the symbol, Hans Deutsch, took his inspiration from the chalices of oil burned on ancient Greek and Roman altars. It became an underground symbol in occupied Europe during World War II for assistance to help Unitarians, Jews, homosexuals, and other people escape Nazi persecution.
We light our chalice today in honor of all those who have gone before and have tended and fueled the flame of our faith, who themselves burned with the passion for justice, mercy, and compassion here in this place and around the world. We light this chalice to illuminate our way in this time and in a world so in need of the fire of compassion and creativity, of justice and love. May this flame rise up and burn brightly, and may we ourselves rise up and burn brightly as tenders and bearers of this flame. As we celebrate life's beauty, may we never forget that we are a part of it. It is woven not only around us, but through us. We are here to notice those elegant strands, the way they call to us, hold us, and connect us. May today enable that beauty to shine. Our next hymn is number 95, There's More Love Somewhere. This tune is named for Steve Biko, the South African activist who spearheaded the Black consciousness movement and died from injuries sustained while in police custody. We'll sing verses throughout the service, reminding us of all that we strive for still. Join me in singing verse 1. We all come to this space carrying joys and sorrows. Some we may wish to hold silently, but some we may wish to share with the community. If you have a joy or a sorrow that you'd like to share today, please just speak it out loud. I'll repeat it, and we'll all share together. I'm going to start. I'm going to share the joy of Maya Rao, Pat Miller and Subhash Rao's daughter, who was married this weekend. Anyone else?
Her friend, died 2 weeks ago, passed away 2 weeks ago. Do we have any other joys or sorrows to share?
It was very joyful to see Reverend Pam and John Cooperrider yesterday.
It was very joyful to see Reverend Pam and John Cooperrider yesterday at the memorial service for Jay Fodor. And we continue to hold Pam in our hearts. Anyone else?
Very happy to be visiting today.
Thank you.
I'm a member of the Unitarian Church in Park Forest, Illinois.
Wonderful. Very happy to be visiting today from Park Forest, Illinois. Awesome.
What a Unitarian church is all about, how it feels more so than anything else, right?
That's very exciting. Thank you for coming. Anyone else? Holding Jerry Shipman in our hearts. As most of you know, Jerry broke his hip about a week or so ago and is in LaGrange Hospital recuperating. Jerry is Pam's father. Also holding Karen Janowski in our hearts. Karen is in rehab also at LaGrange Hospital from a stroke she suffered a few weeks ago. Yes?
I'm
holding in our hearts Pam Fodor for all she's been through lately. Pam Fodor has something to say, apparently.
I just want to say how grateful and supported and then I feel, yesterday we were home when the mailman came and he knocked on the door and he said, I know something must happen because you've got hundreds and hundreds of greeting cards in the mail, which I thought was so sweet. And then I also, so thank you. And then I also want to do a shout out to Charlie because I just went over and looked at the children's play lot that's on the other side of the Army building and it looks awesome. So I'm really so on your play task when you go home, you should take a look because it looks awesome. Love you guys.
Love you, Pam. Any other joys and sorrows to share? Jonathan? We're having a picnic, an indoor picnic because of the squishy ground, but we're having a picnic after the service today. Please join us. We hold all of these joys and sorrows, those spoken and those unspoken, those held in our hearts this morning. Are we doing it first? Are you going to do it now or? Okay.
We know that our financial contributions, excuse me. We are going to have a short video for Pink Haven, which is our a nonprofit of the month for contributions. So any contributions that you make today that aren't marked as pledge will go to Pink Haven.
The Pink Haven Coalition, formed 2 years ago to ensure the survival of two-spirit, trans, and gender-expansive people in a more extreme environment.
We knew a large, grassroots network of groups and individuals gave us the greatest resilience against fascist attacks, as well as the greatest access to resources, without submitting to the insecurities of the nonprofit world of grant cycles and information overshare. We needed to create a network that was both nimble and effective, with a strong security culture to protect everyone involved. This organizing plan has proven wise, as fascists more easily target forward-facing groups and individuals.
Both the UUA and UUSC have become vital partners in the struggle against trans genocide, as have a number of congregations and individuals around the United States. As Unitarians came together during the height of World War II to support people fleeing Nazi persecution, we see the same drive today. Unitarian Universalists have built the historical legacy to be accomplices in the work of trans survival, as well as access to human and financial resources that enable this difficult work to advance.
I have been involved with many organizations over the past 30 plus years, and rarely have I seen one run as effectively, passionately, and with such integrity as this one. Run by impacted people, for impacted people, by listening to those most impacted to get them to a place of safety and hopefully onto a life of self-actualization and success. In this particular time in our country, when so much is in flux, to know that there's an organization doing the work that needs to get done because purely and simply it needs to get done is such a gift, and I continue to treasure the opportunities I have to be a part of it.
The greatest honor for me is being there for our passengers as they share their grief and fear over the hateful conditions that have been imposed on them, and to be a witness to their tears of sadness. But then also, as we help them find hope and ways to greater safety, we give them possibility, then I also get to witness their tears of happiness and of hope. And this is what I want everyone to be able to feel.
That our financial contributions to this congregation come from sacrifice and hard work. We are so grateful for this and commit together to ensure that funds we collect collectively do a greater good for ourselves and our world than they could have done alone. May there be an offering to sustain and grow the life and mission of this congregation. May we give in love and in hope. Please join in our offertory words. This church is made up of all of us. It is what we learn together, the work we do together, the fun we have together. It is what we share with one another, with people around us, and with the world.
Another prayer for you. I say another prayer because quite often Jamie's music sounds and feels like a prayer, doesn't it? Yes, it does. Great mystery, which grounds us and surrounds us, divine presence known by many names and in many ways, be with us in this hour of attention, this hour set apart from the rest of the week, this time to breathe and take stock of all that is our lives, a time to mourn those we have lost, to celebrate the love that has sustained us, a time to rest in the larger love, to find what healing may be connecting with the deepest source within ourselves, a time to remember ourselves, to remind ourselves of our values and our commitments, to go forth and shape with our actions a world worthy of the love that is its inheritance. Spirit of democracy and liberty that is unquenchable within us and within the best traditions of our shared nation, be with us in these days of turmoil, of upheaval, of change. May the changes we demand come from the sweat of our own labor. May the errors of this age lead us to better wisdom about how to live with one another, about how to build societies and nations and governments and communities. May the evil that stalks our land be met with resistance and compassionate strength. May those who are most targeted and victimized by state violence find allies, support, and liberation from bondage. May all war and escalating violence and genocide give way to peace and reparation. May everything become whole somehow. Amen, and blessed be.
You could stay seated and sing "There Is More Hope Somewhere."
Today, we join Unitarian Universalist congregations around the world who celebrate the flower ceremony at this time of year. I recently learned, Reverend Beth recently learned, that Capek used flower celebration, a term that continues to be preferred by Czech Unitarians today. Norbert Fabian Capek was born June 3rd, 1870 in the village of Radomice. Anybody help me out with Bohemian? In Bohemia, then part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. It's the first time I've seen that word, I apologize. He was raised as a Roman Catholic, then the dominant state-supported religion. But he became a Baptist at the age of 18 and soon thereafter began a career as a minister, missionary, publicist, and composer of hymns. His religious stance became increasingly liberal, influenced by the social gospel movement, here's another one, of Walter Rauschenbusch. It was longer but a little bit easier, and by the study of radical Christian movements in Czech religious history. He finally found a home in Unitarianism. This, by the way, was before the merger of the American Unitarian Association and the Universalist Church of America, which occurred in 1961. A whole other story, but an interesting one. Capek first became interested in Unitarianism in 1910 as a result of meeting with Thomas Masaryk. then a professor, later to be president of Czechoslovakia. Kepik tried that year without success to get the American Unitarian Association to support his efforts to promote liberal religion. Maya V. Oktovich, born April 8, 1888 in Bohemia, came to the United States in 1907, obtained a degree from the Columbia University School of Library Science, and in 1909 went to work at the Webster branch in the New York Public Library. It was there that she met Norbert. They were married in June of 1917. Kepik had already been married and widowed twice by this point, and he had 9 children. At the end of World War I, Czechoslovakia became independent, and many Czechs decided to leave the Roman Catholic Church. Kepik was eager to return to his native land and play a part in its spiritual reawakening. He and Maya decided in 1920 to sell their Bellevue, New Jersey home to get money for the voyage. While living there, they encouraged their 3 school-age children to try out various church Sunday schools and report back to their parents on the lessons. So they sent their children to Sunday school and said, "Tell us about it." The one they found that pleased them was the First Unitarian Church of Essex County in Orange. After the children had attended several times, Norbert and Maya also visited the church and found there not only clear heads, but warm hearts too. They signed the membership book on January 10th, 1921. The minister, Dr. Walter Reed Hunt, learning of Kepik's intent to return to Czechoslovakia, arranged for him to meet the president of the American Unitarian Association, whose name was Samuel Eliot. By May, Kepik had a commitment from the AUA to support his work in Czechoslovakia. He bid farewell to the church in Orange in June, and he and Maya embarked for Europe less than a month later. By February 1922, Kepik had organized the Prague Congregation of Liberal Religious Fellowship, and the services were soon drawing standing room-only crowds. The Sunday sermon was repeated and debated in a Tuesday evening program. The Unitarian Flower Celebration originated in 1923 on the last Sunday before the summer recess of the Unitarian Church in Prague. All the children and adults participated in the colorful ritual, which gives concrete expression to the humanity-affirming principles of our liberal faith. When the Nazis took control of Prague in 1940, they found Dr. Kepik's gospel of the inherent worth and dignity of every human person to be, and this is what Nazi records show, quote, too dangerous to the Reich for him, Kepik, to be allowed to live. Rest with that for a minute. He was sent to Dachau, where he was killed the next year during a Nazi medical experiment. This gentle man suffered a cruel death, but his message of human hope and decency lives on through his flower communion, which is widely celebrated today. His wife Maya brought it to the United States after Kepik's death. It is a noble and meaning-filled ritual we are about to recreate. This service also, so you know, includes some original prayers of Dr. Kepik to help us remember the principles and dreams for which he died, and includes words from Unitarian Universalist ministers who celebrate flower communion who celebrated the flower communion at Broadview, outside of the abduction center there at the height of the Midway Blitz.
We told the story at the Broadview Abduction Center as our beloveds inside were subjected to the cruel treatment because Kepik's story, the courage and love that he lived, inspires us all to do what we can in these times. The words of Reverend Jason Linden at Broadview. I'm sorry, Leiden? Leiden. Brave friends, if you are a person who prays, celebrates ancestor wisdom, or connects to the beauty of our earth, I invite you to join me in a time of contemplation. Loving divine, infinite universe, revolutionary ancestors, spirit that moves in and around us, we gather together this morning for liberation. These flowers, these visionaries gathered here honor the lives of those who have been stolen from their loved ones and held captive here in this dungeon and in cages all over this country. The petals of these flowers have unfolded in a profound beauty. The unique beauty of each flower reminds us of the beauty inherent in each of us, in each immigrant seeking freedom from the grips of tyranny. In the name of all things holy and good, liberation must be attained. We lift up a vision of compassion, mercy, and love. The bodies of many are in chains, in paper johnnies, suffering from torture. Mercy, we cry. Freedom, we seek. Justice, we demand. Beloved universe, may we find the power to be the people we need to be in the moment. Courageous, powerful, and unstoppable. We rest upon the shoulders of countless ancestors who struggled for liberation long before us. We remember them. We tell the story of Norbert Chapek this morning, and we know there are so many others whose spirits live within us. In the spirit of love, in a commitment to freedom, in an unrelenting connection to those stolen from us, we pray, we shout, we struggle. Amen.
Whenever Dr. Chapek conducted his flower communion in Prague, he would say words something like this as he consecrated the flowers. Spirit of life, we ask your blessing on these flowers that teach us of friendship and love. Even though we know different things and are good at different things, like these different flowers, each of us is beautiful and has good things to share. May the flowers remind us of the value of doing and sharing together. May we take care of our friendship as our most precious gift. May we be happy that we all have different talents, because all of us are needed to do good work in this world. So now we will commence our flower communion. I invite you, many of you brought flowers. If you didn't bring a flower, that's perfectly fine. We have plenty. We invite you to come up and select a flower different from the one you bring, and then return to your seat.
In the name of providence, which implants in the seed the future of the tree, and in the hearts of men and women the longing for people living in harmony. In the name of the highest, in whom we move, and who makes the mother and father, the brother and sister what they are. In the name of sages and great religious leaders who sacrifice their lives to hasten the coming of peace and justice. Let us renew our resolution sincerely to be real brothers and sisters, regardless of any kind of bar which estranges from each other. In this holy resolve, may we be strengthened, knowing that we are God's family, that one Spirit, the Spirit of love, unites us all. And may we endeavor for a more perfect and more joyful life. Amen.
Take a moment now. Breathe. Look at your flower. Really look at it. Notice what's unique about it. In what ways is it a flower, like all flowers? In what way is it its own flower, its own individual stem? Appreciate their beauty. Appreciate their fragility. Appreciate their resilience. As we sing, Paula is going to come up and lead us again in singing. We ask you now to trade your flower with someone near you.
These words were spoken at Broadview by the Reverend Mandy Huizinga. I don't think I've seen her last name before. Minister of the DuPage Unitarian Universalist Church. With love as our guide, we affirm the sacredness of every human being and our shared humanity across lines of culture, experience, and belief. In that love, we will dismantle this farce of legal action. In that love, we will work to return people to their families and homes and to heal the brokenness of our world. We reject these practices of hate. We reject authoritarianism, and we loudly declare the injustice of supremacy culture inherent in this country's immigration practices from its founding. The racism, the religious bigotry, and the capitalistic preferences that this country's immigration policies have enforced are rooted in the corruption of power supported by whiteness, supremacy, and wealth through colonization. We will dismantle each and every piece until all people are able to flourish. We know that when the law of a nation is ignored for one group of people, it puts us all in peril. We vehemently protest the tactics of authoritarianism that promotes sameness over the diversity of creation. We declare the sacredness of all people and believe that only together, honoring our differences, can we truly create the beloved community. As we gather here, I invite us to remember that whatever the storm of hate throws at us, we are strong. We are strong in our collected liberation. We are strong because together we are on the side of righteousness. Together we hold a fierce and determined love that burns through all that is unjust. May the moral compass of love that transcends and unites our diverse and beautiful beliefs and beings hold us strong and give us courage as we act in faith by choosing justice. Let us declare here and now, we will not be moved.
Another call to action. August 1st, fierce urgency of now. It's the 60th anniversary of the Chicago Freedom Movement. So on Saturday, August 1st, 2026, thousands will gather in Chicago for the Fierce Urgency of Now, a national march in Marquette Park, a multi-faith, multicultural public witness commemorating the 60th anniversary of the Chicago Freedom Movement. In 1966, Dr. Martin Luther King and the Chicago Freedom Movement marched into Marquette Park to confront entrenched segregation, redlining, and organized racial violence. 60 years later, communities across the country face renewed attacks on voting rights and access to the ballot, expanding systems of criminalization and detention, and deepening economic inequality. This national gathering connects the unfinished work of 1966 to the defining moral challenges of this moment. Together, faith leaders, civic leaders, organizers, artists, young people, and communities from across the country will march for free and fair elections, freedom for immigrant and marginalized communities, and a future rooted in dignity, justice, and shared humanity. Led locally by Iman, in partnership with dozens of community-rooted organizations, and led nationally by Powered by Faith, this mobilization is a call to action grounded in moral clarity, cultural power, and collective resolve. Reverend Beth will be organizing for UUANI and supporting Side with Love. She's inviting all of you to join her on August 1st in Chicago as we honor the legacy of the Chicago Freedom Movement and rise together for the fierce urgency of now. So when you get your phones out after the service, open up the calendar and mark the date. I now invite Pat Woods to come up and share a story with us.
In 1966, I lived in a small, new apartment building at 67th and Kedzie. That's Marquette Boulevard and Kedzie. I was getting ready to be a bridesmaid at my friend's wedding that morning, and I heard there was going to be some sort of a march. When I was getting ready, it looked really interesting, and I would normally have stayed and found out more about it, but can't be late to a wedding. That night I heard on the news that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was a part of that march. Every Sunday that summer, after that, maybe some of you remember, there were protests. White young men wearing t-shirts and jeans, throwing rocks at people, black people who were passing on Marquette and on Kedzie, throwing rocks at the people in the cars. One car was overturned and thrown into the lagoon. Another Sunday, a car was burned. One Sunday, I saw 3 Ku Klux Klan members go past my window. I'm still kind of shaking from it. I had stomach aches every Sunday morning. One day, my good friend and her boyfriend were visiting just to see what was happening. He kind of got in the mood. He was a big guy, and he picked up a brick. He was going to throw it. I kicked him off our porch, and about a dozen or more young men called me a nigger lover, and I had to hide in our laundry room until it was all clear. When I got back to my apartment, my picture window overlooking this beautiful park had a bullet hole in it. You can bet the following summer I had moved into the city further to the Loop. And you can bet I will be at that August 1st, for sure.
As we extinguish our chalice, let the beauty we see be what we do, as exemplified by Pat. Join me in our chalice extinguishing words. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of its truth, nor the warmth of this community, nor the fire of our commitment. These we carry in our hearts and share with all the world.
Just before he was put to death in Dachau, Dr. Chaupek wrote this prayer, reflecting on his own life and the state of his spirit. It is worthwhile to live and fight courageously for sacred ideals. Oh, blow ye evil winds into my body's fire. My soul you'll never unravel. Even though disappointment 1,000 times or fallen in the fight, and everything would worthless seem. I have lived amidst eternity. Be grateful, my soul. My life was worth living. He who was pressed from all sides but remained victorious in spirit is welcomed into the choir of heroes. He who overcame the fetters giving wing to the mind is entering into the golden age of the victorious. Please join us in our closing song. Yes.
I am not being heroic here. This is my last Sunday with you as I take leave for part of the summer. So I wanted to tell you how much I love you, how much I love watching you get your flowers. I want to give deep props to Jamie, who's his last service of the summer with me. So we all remember that this is a zipper song. We're going to go to that land where there's going to be freedom, justice, and singing. And I'm sorry, y'all. I'm going to sing. Please rise in body or spirit.
Yeah.
turn the mic on. Please join us downstairs for the picnic. More flowers to take. Yeah. Please do take more flowers.
I wasn't even walking, all of a sudden I turned. And we hugged each other so hard, I thought we were both going to break.
So I thought, well, I said, fine, let's do that.
What's her name? Never came up and said,